Just read it. I've already explained it. Read this once. Read this. All right. See. Okay. So I have a request. Can you please explain again neutral, aggressive, and defensive? Okay. See, the stocks which have a beta of more than 1. So the beta, the stocks, the nature of the stocks as aggressive and defensive is defined on the basis of the beta value. Okay. The benchmark is, or you can say the center point is the beta value of 1. So the beta of market is considered as 1. Now, if the stock has a beta equals to 1, we will say that it's a neutral stock. That means if the market is going to increase by 10%, this stock is going to increase by 10% only. Okay, nothing more, nothing less. Now, in case the beta of a stock is, let's suppose, more than 1. For example, Adani is there. Then we have Ashok Leyland, Bank of Baroda maybe. So the Bank of India, these are few of the companies which have a very high beta. Okay. Now, if the beta is more than 1, we will say that this stock has a higher sensitivity with respect to the market. So if there is a small percentage change in the market, okay, if there is a small percentage change in the market, this particular stock of the company, for example, Adani Power and then Ashok Leyland, all of these, they will show higher movement in their own stocks. Okay, so these stocks will, their prices, their returns will get impacted more. And if the overall market will give, let's suppose, 10% return at a particular point of time, or you can say the return of the market increases by 10%, the return by these stocks will be more than 10%. Okay. Their prices will change by more than 10%. That is the case. So, which is why we are saying that if the market is taking one step ahead, these stocks, because of having a higher beta, these stocks are taking 2 steps ahead than the market. Okay, or maybe 1.5 step ahead than the market. So let's say if the beta of a stock is 2, then I will say that the market has moved one step ahead. Another, this company has the stock of this company has increased, has moved two step ahead. Okay. So, which is why we will say that this company is aggressive in nature in on the basis of the market movements, which we are calculating by checking the beta value. Okay. And vice versa, if the beta is less than 1, then we will say that the market is moving up by 10%. This particular ABC Limited company's stock is moving hardly 9%. There is a hardly 9% or 8% movement. So if the beta is 0.9, it will be 9%. If the beta is 0.8, it will be 8%. All right. So this is called a defensive stock. By defensive, I mean that this particular company, you can just consider it as a human being. Let's say there are two of you. Okay, you and your friend. Now there is you and there are two other friends of yours. Now let's say you're trying to enter into a forest. All right, you're trying to enter into an unknown territory. Now let's suppose you are the market. You are representing the market. Now let's suppose you take one step ahead. One of your friend who is on your right hand side, that friend takes 2 steps ahead of you. Okay. And the other friend who is on the left hand side of yours, just try to imagine that friend takes hardly half a step ahead. Okay. Now in this case, what happens? You will say, if you have to give some sort of remarks to these two people, you will say that my friend on the right hand side is aggressive in nature. Okay. He is more curious. He's trying to get maximum out of this opportunity and is taking much higher risk as compared to me while entering into this unknown territory. Okay. On the other side, the other friend who is on the left hand side, this friend is quite cautious in terms of entering into the unknown territory. So I am moving one step ahead. This friend is moving hardly half a step ahead. So I will say that this person is conservative in his approach. Or I can use the term, this person is defensive in terms of taking steps ahead, is too calculative, is too cautious while moving ahead into the unknown territory, right? So exactly the same thing happens in case of stocks. If the market is moving up by 10%, the defensive stock will move hardly 5%, 6%, 8%, or maybe 9%, but will not move more than 10% or equal to 10%, right? That type of a stock will be called defensive stock. I hope now it is clear to you. Shall we move ahead? All right. Now, role of beta in your portfolio. So, see, I'm not going to buy just one stock. Okay, let's suppose I have 1 lakh rupees. So I'm not going to invest into just one stock and then keep that stock forever, or maybe keep that stock for a little time period, wait for its possibility of increase in the price, and then sell it further, and then again whatever amount of money I get in return, I use that to purchase one more stock, another stock. So at any point of time, if I'm investing into the stock market, I will be holding multiple shares, multiple company shares. Okay. So now what happens? I'm not now since that complete collection of stocks is lying in my portfolio, okay, so that I can call it as my portfolio of stocks. So since all of these stocks will be having different sensitivity with regard to the market, that is, these all of these stocks will be having different beta values. So I am required to calculate the beta of my portfolio. Once I calculate the beta of my portfolio, then I will be able to tell that my overall investment strategy is aggressive or is it defensive in nature. So if the overall beta of my portfolio comes to less than 1, then I will say that my overall portfolio is defensive in nature. Doesn't matter there is one stock which is having a beta of more than 1. Doesn't matter there is another stock which is having a beta of less than 1. The overall weighted average will be calculated, and I will be trying to figure out that what is the overall beta of my investment, overall beta of my portfolio. Then I will say that what is the overall risk or the sensitivity of my portfolio with regard to the market. All right. So how to calculate the beta of the portfolio? So this calculation is done on the basis of weighted average. I'm writing it in the chat window now. Weight 1 multiplied by beta 1 plus weight 2 multiplied by beta 2 plus this, then weight n multiplied by beta n. Let's put a bracket here. Divided by beta 1 plus beta 2, and further beta n. Okay, so weight 1 of beta 1, let's say I have 10 stocks. So I will find out the weightage of each of these stocks, and I will multiply these weightages with the respective beta of that stock. And then I will divide that complete figure by the total value of the beta of my portfolio, beta of all of these stocks. Okay. Now, sorry, not beta. It should be divided only by n. Okay, instead of beta 1 plus beta 2, it will be only n. Now, see, how do we calculate the weightage? Weightage is, let's say you have 1 lakh rupees. Okay. Now, through this 1 lakh rupee, you have invested 50K in stock A, 20K in stock B, and 30K in stock C. So this is 1 lakh rupees, 50,000 plus 20,000 plus 30,000. Okay. So what is the proportion of investment, percentage of investment in stock A, B, and C respectively? That I will calculate. So the total investment is 1 lakh. So 50K divided by 1 lakh is 50% investment. Okay. Similarly, so this is for stock A. Then 20% for stock B, 30% for stock C. So the percentage allocation of this complete amount of money in stock A is 50%. In stock B, it is 20%, and stock C, it is 30%. So on the basis of this, I will say that the weight, okay, the importance, the weightage of stock A in terms of calculations is 50%, and stock B is 20%, stock C is 30%. All right. So this is how we identify the weightages. So the proportionate amount of money which is invested in a particular stock. All right. And the sum total of the weightage will always be either 1 if I am calculating in terms of numbers, that is decimals, and if I am calculating in terms of percentages, it will always sum total to 100. That is W1 plus W2 plus W3. If it is given in terms of percentages, it will always, I will always get the figure of 100. Okay. Now, so the higher the diversification of the portfolio, the better will be the diversification of the beta, and the better will be the overall performance of the stock in terms of return generation, right? So I want to keep least possible sensitivity, and on the other hand, I want to generate maximum possible returns out of my investments. All right, so that is the objective here. So we should invest in all of the types of stocks. We should not stick to only small cap or maybe mid cap or maybe large cap. We should diversify and try to get an optimum collection of all of the stocks, that is small cap, mid cap, multi cap, then large cap, all of these 3 categories, and maybe some international stocks also if we have the option, right?